Welcome to the Legal Hour with Mike Chastain, a weekly show dedicated to exploring current legal issues and hot topics, giving you something interesting to talk about around the water cooler. Now, here's your host attorney, Mike Chastain.
Well, welcome to the Legal Hour with Mike Chastain, but Mike is not with us, not for just a little bit. Hi, everybody. This is E, and I'm flying solo for probably about 15, 20 minutes here, but not quite by myself, because we've got a very special guest with us today. Now, this is somebody that we've known for many years and has been a colleague with us on the National Ski Patrol. As our guest was last week, we had John. I don't know if you joined us or not, but we had a really interesting talk last week about the National Ski Patrol and what does it take to be a patroller and what does it look like in the day of a life of a patroller. Really fun stuff. Well, today our guest is Jim Kaspari, and in his real job, not in his ski patrol job, but his real job, he is a business coach. And I'm not sure how many of you out there are really familiar with what a business coach does. So today, I promise you're going to get a great inside look at what he does and how he changes people's lives, one client at a time. So welcome, Jim. It's great to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much, E.
Aww.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, let's go ahead and let's get started. Can you just give us an overview of what a business coach is? I mean, a lot of people have heard of business consultants, but what does a coach do?
That is a great question. I'll start with what is a business consultant? And obviously this is going to be a simplified answer in the interest of time, but great consultants come in and they analyze someone's business. So they look at where are they at now, financially, with their team, with marketing, etc., and really establish a baseline. They also get in touch with the owners, the team, and find out where do they want to go, and they're instrumental in creating a plan, step-by-step plan to get there.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's what most people, I think of when I'm going to do a consultant is it's really like at that level of kind of the brass tacks of numbers and, getting the business cranked up in whatever respects. But a coach is quite different from that, isn't it?
It is, and business consulting is a subset of business coaching. So that's absolutely vital to go in and find out where is the client, what's working, what's not working, and where do they want to go. Sometimes we get so busy. It's not easy being an entrepreneur, and I really love and respect entrepreneurs. It's a life passion, and it is not simple. But there are success principles that can make it easier and faster to get to where you want to go. And what I started saying is a lot of us get so busy on the, quote, hamster wheel of life, and we're working, but we're not making forward progress, and we lose the connection with the initial dream. So business owners, think about what was your initial dream? What did you want? How much free time did you want? A lot of people start businesses because they want freedom. They want free time.
They have a vision.
They have a vision,
yeah.
Yes. And they have products and services that serve people, and they love from the heart, love to help people. And a successful business is successful because they're making a difference in people's lives.
I just love this stuff, and our listeners will know that Mike and I spend quite a bit of time talking about business development, what we've learned in our practice, sharing it, hoping everybody else really enjoys it and gets something out of it too. Because what we found is that there is no separation, really. There's not, we don't just check in, to work and then walk out and check out and that's it. And there's like a difference between us pre-work and us at work, is that it's our lives. It's part of our lives. And I think that's, and I don't know if it's like more of modern day kind of thing where people are, they're entrepreneurs. They have a vision of their life. They want to have, they want to participate in a full way. So what I'm trying to say is we're really connected, I think, inside to what we're doing at work. And we should be to get fulfillment with it.
Absolutely, and this country was founded on entrepreneurialism, and I've read studies that say that it isn't going to be big business that brings this country back. It's going to be small business. It's going to be people like you and I that are fully dedicated and putting ourselves out there to make a difference and become profitable and provide jobs for people and stimulate the economy.
Well, I'm so excited about this time together, Jim, because there's so many directions we can go with this. So we've got lots of time, so it'll be great to kind of dissect this down a little bit. So what I'm hearing you saying is like the difference between a business coach and a consultant is you're like the full package. I mean, you're working with people probably with their psychology, I would imagine, emotionally, their vision, like all those things, and their business stuff. Would that be kind of a way of putting it?
That is a great way of putting it. It's a comprehensive package, and sometimes consultants, not all, but sometimes consultants come in and create the plan and go away, and the client implements a small percentage of the plan, and then it goes back to business as usual. So there are consulting companies that provide help with the implementation and the step-by-step support along the way. So whether it's a consultant or a business coach, the step-by-step regular meetings, let's just say I work with somebody on their marketing, and then they create a breakdown in being able to supply for those additional new clients. So now we're going to work on a different priority. We're going to build team. We're going to hire. We're going to train. We're going to motivate. We're going to reward and retain those people. So things are constantly shifting and changing. But and the other thing that I get complimented on a lot is simply like school. Now, how many of us have done a book report at the last minute? Well, people will tell me, Jim, I knew we were meeting today, so I did all my homework in the last couple of days. And I'm like, that's great, as long as you get it done. It's accountability and the support. The other thing that you mentioned the mental game, and I'll talk about that. But the other thing that a good business coach does, or any coach for that matter, is they hold the client at their full potential, and sometimes the client doesn't even believe it themselves. But holding that potential and being a stand for that and accepting nothing less actually creates magic and miracles in people's lives.
Oh, I'm with you on that one. Mike and I are a huge believer of mentors, mastermind groups, all those kind of things, of having that third-party perspective. But let's, before we get into all of that, tell me a little bit, how did you get into this? Because it's a kind of an unusual profession. I know you're very good at what you do, and you've had a lot of things you've done in the past. But what kind of drove you to this?
I think it was fate, and I think it was my destiny. I remember as a young child cleaning up people's yards or painting or babysitting and thinking, gosh, and this was way back in the day. So I was thinking, gosh, these people are paying me $5 an hour, and what if I hired my friends at $4 an hour? So I was already thinking like an entrepreneur, and I took the traditional route. I went to school, I got a degree. I was lucky enough to get a position at the number one biotechnology company in the world, Genentech, and I worked for them for 20 years. So I have a lot of history in manufacturing, in process development, chemical engineering, global enterprise system,
big institution,
execution systems, leading internal consultants with rational thought process. I was a training manager for 5 years. So it was really interesting. I'm like, these are just a jumble set of skill sets. What the heck am I going to do with this? And I was fortunate enough. The stock did well, real estate did well. I retired at 44. I didn't like that model of being in industry and working until nowadays 65, 70, 75, and then finally having some freedom. Freedom is one of my huge values, and I love helping people achieve that. So I retired at 44 years old. This was in 2005. I immediately joined a year-long mentoring program with a person who has 5 best-selling books and is quite successful. And she tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I wanted to coach for her organization because of who I was and what I was up to, and I was playing full out. And I think that goes into a little bit of my sports background and some of the success principles I learned through life. My parents were instrumental in really just getting that in me. There's an internal drive in anything I do, whether it's ski patrol or playing guitar and singing or business coaching. I always want to be the best I can be, and I love helping people.
I was going to say that I know that about you, is just that helping people is one of the common, denominators, I think, in that. And also I love when you said that you used to, clean up the yards and babysit, because you kind of do that now. thinking, well, that's kind of the definition of a coach is you're cleaning up after people, the messes they make, and you're babysitting and holding their hands and, helping them through a process.
Yeah, and I don't think they would like those terms.
I don't know that I got
But, sometimes we have blind spots and we don't
Yes.
see where there are problems or challenges, and it's so easy to have somebody there to mirror for you. Did you know that you're doing this and you're saying you're going to do this and you're doing this, or you know exactly what you need to be doing and you're not doing it? How can we look at it differently? What can I do to support you in getting that done?
Yeah, no, I think this is just absolutely critical in business and in life in general, is just as having that perspective and somebody to help you through those things, because we don't know what we don't know. And I also think that sometimes we don't want to see what we know, and to have help with that. But anyways, we need to take a break right now, and we're going to be back right after the break with Jim Kaspari.
A couple of drinks after work, think you're doing okay, get in the car, and boom, you see the flashing lights and your heart stops. Hi, I'm Mike Chastain of the Chastain Law Office, and I literally wrote the book, How to Survive a DUI Arrest, What You Need to Know. When you're pulled over for a DUI, how you act matters. Be polite, stay calm, and follow directions. It may mean the difference between going home or going to jail. My book provides critical information you need to protect your livelihood, your driving privileges, and your reputation. To get a free copy, go to www.yoursacduiattorney.com. You can listen to me every Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. for the Legal Hour, during the Happy Hour on Money 105.5 FM. If you've been arrested, call me for a free consultation right now. That's yoursacduiattorney.com. Bottom line, if you've been drinking, call for a ride. If you didn't and got caught, you better call Mike. I'm Mike Chastain, and my team fights for good people.
Now, back to the Legal Hour on Money 105.5 with your host, Mike Chastain.
Well, welcome back to the Legal Hour. This is E Today, and today we're joined with Jim Kaspari is here as our special guest, and Jim is a business coach. And Jim, not to be confused with a consultant, we were just learning about the difference between the two, and that a business coach is somebody that encompasses, I'd say, all the aspects of being an entrepreneur, from, the initial vision, how the person's thinking, what their habits are, what they're doing, and the brass tacks of running a business. So he kind of incorporates all that in his way of helping people. Anyways, he does a fabulous job at it, and as you all know, that Mike and I are really keen on business growth as part of personal development. There's really not a difference between there. So, Jim, what I'd like to start this section with is find out a little bit. Let's role play a minute. And let's say we called you up and asked you to come in. We need help with our business. How do you approach that? I mean, you've got you've got the main person, you've all these people that work for them, you've got, a business going on, all different kinds of businesses. What do you do to start with?
It's actually pretty simple. I find out where you are. Where are you? What are you doing well? Where did you start? Where are you at now? What are you proud of? And where are you stuck? Where do you have some challenges? What haven't you tried that you want to try? The other thing that's really important is, what is your dream? Not as just your financial goals. That's really important, but oftentimes it's quality of life. Are you having the free time that you want to spend with your family, or go mountain biking or skiing, or whatever it is that you love to do? And
because I don't think people anymore, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but I don't think people anymore buy into that, when I retire is when I'm going to start living my life. I'm going to save up money to do all these things then. I think we've all seen how that falls short, and life can deal us things unexpectedly between now and then, and so we need to start enjoying right now.
I agree completely that people don't buy into it, but a lot of people feel like they don't have a choice. So part of my job is getting them to know and believe and be committed to creating a life that is not only abundant and profitable
right now,
and they're enjoying what they're doing, and they have free time to do what they love.
Oh, that is priceless. It really, really is.
And it's completely possible.
Yeah.
It's happened time and time again.
Well, so I love how you get started with that. You're going to really find out. Sounds like your starting place is what's right with that person. Is like, what is working? What are your dreams? All these like positive things, as opposed to coming in and because I'm sure it's easy for you. You probably very quickly see the things at one level that need to be worked on pretty quickly, but not to go right at that when you're coaching people.
Yeah, I have a knack for identifying red flags and what I call white flags. So what are the huge opportunities? What are the red flags? And by human nature, it's good to be gentle. It's good not to shut someone down, but to point it out, and with permission. So I have, as part of my intake session, I just say, this is completely confidential. It's non-judgmental, non-critical. I'm a human being. I make mistakes all the time. And part of learning is going for it and making mistakes. So it's a safe place, and the more honest and vulnerable you are to the degree of getting out of your comfort zone and having an evolution with that, the more I can help you.
Well, that's a real skill set, Jim, right there. I mean, that is just huge. I always want to kind of highlight that because, nobody wants to hear. It's really hard to hear what's wrong with us and what we may not be doing right in business. We take all of that personally, and it does come back to personal responsibility with it. But it's really hard to hear those things as much as we may want to. So it sounds like you set the stage very carefully and kind of gently with people in mutual agreement that this is how it's going to work.
Absolutely.
Together.
It's a designed alliance. So
yeah. I like that.
It's all permission based. And the other thing that you touched on is, like people live in their dreams and personal growth. And I have two beliefs about profitability in a business. Mm-hmm. One, your business is going to be more profitable as you grow as a person. The second thing is profitability is a function of how many people you're helping and how much you're helping them. So it's not being greedy, and it's not about money. It's about serving. And naturally, the financial reward comes. The other thing is money is a magnifier of who we are. So
I like that.
So whatever strengths you have, whatever weaknesses you have, is going to be magnified the more money you have. So if you give Mother Teresa more money, what's she going to do with it?
Oh, a lot more good. There's no question about that.
Absolutely. She's going to build hospitals.
Yeah.
She's going to build teams. She's going to get more bandages, food, and that's just who she is in her heart and soul. And then if you give a criminal more money,
he's going to create more opportunities in a different way.
I don't know. But I love that belief because as I grow, as I become more profitable and help other people become more profitable, it gives me a sense of responsibility of, I really need to be self-aware and what is right and what is wrong and stay in alignment with my values and integrity. And I love that model because it dispels a lot of the myths that money is bad or money is the root of all evil. And money is just money. And
it's
money
just money
can be used to help people. And it can be used for charity.
It's just it's a vehicle.
And it's okay to have fun or buy a boat or, whatever your dream is.
Oh, my gosh, I bet there's a lot of things to unravel because really down at that foundational level of our relationship with money goes back to how we were raised, what the money situation was in the house, and then just kind of like the cultural stigma about money. There's a lot of stigma. There's a lot of things about like, they're just greeting all this money and negative things about it as opposed to it being, we see different role models, and I think there's a lot of in, modern days that there's a lot of different people coming up, doing the Gates family. They do a lot of wonderful things with their money. Warren Bishop does incredible things with his money. So there's some great examples there, but there's a lot that are not good examples. So you have to probably unravel people starting right from the foundational, their relationship and their view about money.
Right. And that's part of the magic is unearthing people's subconscious beliefs that keep them stuck.
Wow, that's so cool. And, it's so interesting because with the whole, business coaching, you don't necessarily think all that would go into the psychology behind being successful. But I love that. I think that's great. Now tell me a little bit about, Jim, because I know you have a really strong analytical side that you have to go in there, you have to really know how businesses are run. Can you talk a little bit like how then you break down the actual business aspect of it to help people move forward, towards their dream and their goals?
Absolutely. And, so one of the things is establishing with measurements, what are the critical performance indicators of your business? So maybe I'm not a big fan of gross income. I've known people that make millions of dollars, but their business spends millions of dollars and they have no net income, which is great for taxes, but it doesn't really help buy anything.
It's true. Our
right,
coach,
you're just busy.
Our coach calls them is our vanity numbers versus our sanity numbers.
Right.
What is the vain ones like? Oh, we're making all this, but what are you really making? What are you netting as opposed to grossing at the end of the day? So
yeah, absolutely. So. What are the measurements, whether it's customer satisfaction or number of clients served, so you want to measure where are you at and where do you want to go, and then create a revenue model of what are the key things. Like if you're building your business, how many leads do you need? What's your conversion ratio? How many sales? How's your pricing? How's your percent margin? And one thing that I've found that is like a miracle is pricing. And this doesn't mean raising your price to gouge people, but it means responsibly pricing your products and services so that you serve the business so that you can serve more people. And what I mean by that is a lot of times people price based on variable costs. And you really want to price based on variable costs, fixed costs, and future costs. So I see small businesses building a team, building their marketing, doing great things with their customers, but they can't grow because they didn't budget into their pricing a middle manager. So just as an example, that's some of the analytical things that I help people with that isn't necessarily taught in normal school or in trades. There's a lot of experts out there that are fantastic at what they do, but they don't have all the marketing, the sales, the leadership, the operations, the financial training to be a successful entrepreneur.
That's one of the sad things I think about our educational system, even our higher educational systems, whether you come out, you're being a lawyer, or a doctor, or whatever kind of practitioner, a specialist in an area, how much actual training do you get on these things of running a successful business? Zip. And that's, you can't just go out there and be really good at something and you put your shingle up. Nowadays, as you get your website, and then all of a sudden everyone's going to come to you. You're going to be a success. You have lots of clients because you're really good. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. There's all kinds of business things in between, and that's the foundation for that you have to learn one way or the other. And, where are you going to pick that up?
Well, that's the funny thing about business owners in general is they're super smart and they're capable and they think they have to figure it all out themselves. So there's books, there's seminars, there's webinars, etc. And if they were going to take up golf or tennis and wanted to play at a high level or be an Olympic athlete, they would have a coach, right? Obviously,
no
like a no-brainer.
Nobody doesn't have one.
Business owners are like, what's a business coach? Why would I need that?
Yeah. Well, do you want to excel? Do you want to be the best at what you do? Do you want to have your results reflect, who you are and how well, you do what you do? It's like, duh, you need a business coach. Exactly. Okay, well, we're getting close to coming to a break, and we are joined. And look, Mr. Chastain has joined the team here. Welcome, Mike.
Looking very sharp.
He's looking very sharp. He just got out of court.
Yeah, thank you. It's sorry I'm late, but it is.
It is what it is.
The judge had business with me.
Well, he did have business with you. I hope you had some. We're talking about business. Anyways, we need a break right now. We'll be back in a few minutes on Money 105.5.
In-N-Out Burger, where each burger has been made the same way since the very first one hit the grill back in 1948. Fresh, made to order, and only with the highest quality ingredients. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger's all about. In-N-Out Burger.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? Are you constantly limited by your health and you want to get a more natural solution? My name's Dr. Tim Smith, and I help families change the way they view and manage their health at New Life Chiropractic every single day, getting natural solutions for common healthcare issues. If you want to learn more about how you can start changing your life for the better, visit our office at newlifechiropracticrockland.com or call 916-259-2682 and start changing the health of your family today.
What if you could have an experience of a lifetime this year? Something that goes beyond mundane. It's not a vacation. It's an opportunity you won't soon forget. A timely and important expedition to the land of Israel awaits you. Make plans now for the Stand with Israel tour, happening this fall. Join Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher on a 9-day trip to Israel that will offer you first-hand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. We'll introduce you to the geopolitical, economic, and security dynamics of a truly remarkable nation. Get a behind-the-scenes view into many of the places you've read and heard about, all during Jerusalem's 50th year anniversary. The Western Wall, modern Tel Aviv, the Dead Sea, and much more, with expert guides and important lectures at key sites, surrounded in the comfort and safety of first-class accommodations. Look forward to something special this year. Stand with Israel. For trip details, visit standwithisraeltour.com. Standwithisraeltour.com.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. President Trump's fire and fury comments about North Korea set off the predictable hyperbole among his blindly furious foes on the cable shows, few of whom seem to grasp that the North Korean crisis has been growing since almost the armistice was signed and accelerating since Bill Clinton's much-celebrated then and understood its disastrous today deal of 1994. Neither George W. Bush's nor Barack Obama's various diplomatic overtures yield much more besides tests, more time, and now more nukes and missiles. Blunt, indeed provocative talk may or may not work, but it can't be said that Trump was upsetting a successful strategy put in motion by his predecessors. The villain on the Korean Peninsula is Kim Jong-un. American media in love with hating Donald Trump can continue in their patterns, but suggesting that Trump is somehow the source of the problem in Pyongyang is a poker tell of incredible ignorance about the region and perhaps a fundamental inability to report the news. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
A couple of drinks after work. Think you're doing okay, get in the car, and boom, you see the flashing lights and your heart stops. Hi, I'm Mike Chastain of the Chastain Law Office, and I literally wrote the book, How to Survive a DUI Arrest, What You Need to Know. When you're pulled over for a DUI, how you act matters. Be polite, stay calm, and follow directions. It may mean the difference between going home or going to jail. My book provides critical information you need to protect your livelihood, your driving privileges, and your reputation. To get a free copy, go to www.yoursacduiattorney.com. You can listen to me every Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. for the Legal Hour during the happy hour on Money 105.5 FM. If you've been arrested, call me for a free consultation right now. That's yoursacduiattorney.com. Bottom line, if you've been drinking, call for a ride. If you didn't and got caught, you better call Mike. I'm Mike Chastain, and my team fights for good people.
Now, back to the Legal Hour on Money 105.5 with your host, Mike Chastain.
Welcome back to the Legal Hour. This is E, and today I'm joined now with Mike, who has come onto the table here. And we also have our special guest, Jim Kaspari, who is a professional business coach. We've been having a very interesting discussion on what business coaches actually do and how they take in consideration the whole person, their vision, their habits, their views on things, and just the brass tacks of running a business. I'd kind of like to talk a little bit, if you don't mind, Jim, maybe about marketing, because I know at the Chastain Law Office, we have a large marketing budget, and we have to be very, very careful with that. There's a lot that goes into it to have it work. So because I know you do even website design, SEO, you have a lot of things that you can provide for your clients. Tell me a little bit about how you approach marketing. What are the common mistakes? How do you change those? Shed a little light on that for us, if you don't mind.
No, that's a great question. I'm glad we have 24 hours to cover that.
Yeah.
So the main thing that I see time and time again is business owners and their teams jumping right into, okay, what do we got to do? What are we going to try? So it's a shotgun approach. Throw it on the wall, see what sticks. And what is important is really coming up with a comprehensive marketing plan. Just like if you're starting a business or you're revamping your business or just on a regular basis, you want a business plan. We've all heard of the Harvard Business Studies that say your risks go down tenfold by writing down and comprehensively thinking out a full business plan. Well, it turns out that a marketing plan is about 80% of a business plan. You know, you start with your purpose, your mission, your vision, your values. You know, who is the company? Why was it started? And then you dive into narrowing down your target market. That one step alone can increase the effectiveness of your marketing budget, time, energy, and money tenfold. But then really going into the details. What's unique, special, different, and better about your business? What's in it for the client? What are the challenges and problems that your client has? What do they really want? What is their big why? What's their desire? What's their dream? What's their goal? And what's your marketing message? I mean, I could go on. I want to share a quick model for marketing message. Like if you're building a flyer, a postcard, a web page, homepage, it's a cool model. So just like with any ad, you would start with a attention-grabbing headline. Like we all know, got milk, right? So it could be a powerful question. It could be a bold statement. So have a powerful title, grab their attention. Then a couple sentences saying, we understand. You know, like Chastain Law Group. Gosh, that really sucks that you got a DOI. You know, you wouldn't use that language. But, you know, meet them where they're at and empathize with them so they know they're coming to the right place. And then simply a few bullet points on what's in it for them. What are the benefits? What are the results? What are the emotions that you will help them achieve? And then simply a clear call to action. So you're saying, you're in the right place. I got your attention. You're in the right place. We can help you get what you want. Here's how to get it.
And you know what? That's the difference between true sales and sales that's about just sales for sales sake. And let me explain that. It's like nobody wants to be sold, right? You go into the biggest example, going into the car lot. You know, the salesperson comes up and it just starts telling you all about the car and all these things about it, and you just feel like they're talking at you. They have no idea who you are, what your needs are, what you want, and it's very off-putting. You know, so nobody wants to be sold. You know, what they want to do is they want somebody to understand them and understand their needs, who they are, unique to them, and then have a conversation about it. And that's kind of like my perspective, is how I...
Absolutely. And a lot of people have fear about sales from a business perspective. And sales is simply getting to know someone, building a relationship, and then offering to help them with whatever problem they have or whatever opportunity they want to maximize.
Well, I think a big piece of, you know, what you're talking about with the marketing in particular is getting your message to the people that would be interested in that message. So, you know, advertising scuba diving in Minnesota probably is not a great market. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of scuba diving in Minnesota.
Well, maybe there's a handful that might be needed.
Maybe
right
Phoenix,
there,
Arizona, for example. You know, there's not going to be a lot of scuba diving there. So, finding people that will hear your message. I know I use this in my trial work, is I would prefer to preach to the choir the message that I'm trying to represent, as opposed to convince people who are not convincible,
that don't want
to hear it, aren't interested. That makes my job so much harder, and I think marketing is the same way. You want to talk to people who are actually interested in what you're providing. So if you sell musical instruments, you want to talk to people who are interested in music, right?
Absolutely.
You want to. So the idea, I think, that your point is jumping in the middle and just throwing it against the wall and hoping it sticks isn't profitable, because you're spending money marketing to people who aren't interested in what you have to offer. So identifying who's looking for your services is critical, so that you get the return on your investment on your marketing dollars, because marketing is expensive. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and you hit on a major point. There's a couple types of marketing. Educational marketing is the hardest marketing. It takes forever, and it's hard. But what might be called aspirin marketing, somebody has a migraine headache and you have something that will make it go away, that's easy to sell. So if somebody has a problem or a challenge and you get the message right to them, And that's the idea behind narrowing down the target market. And a simple mathematical model is if you narrow down to 10% of the population, there's still an awful lot of clients left. And I think people get caught with, gosh, I can help anybody. And, could I help anybody as a business coach? Yes and no. but who can I help the most? That's the real question. When you narrow it down to 10% of the population, you're not going to serve all those people, but it makes your marketing 10 times more effective.
Well, it's also more realistic, too, because Mike always uses the example on the air and also in our office when he's talking to clients is that, you've had, let's say you have a DUI and you've come to us for it. Now you have different choices. If you want to hire private counsel, you could go to a DUI law firm like ours that has a specific focus on it. Or you can go to the one that does all these different things and DUIs. Well, if you have this whole, everyone takes a specialization to do, to be able to do them well. And if you're doing all those things, you can count on that they're not going to do any one of those really great. So what is it that really moves you? Criminal defense moves Mike, and that is his passion. And to focus on that, and he's been able to help so many people because of that. I think our marketing is spot on because we know who it is that we're looking for. And I just say, Jim, what you said earlier is just, you could unpack that for the next, 3 years.
Well, I think there's also a realization. You say, could you help anyone? The answer is probably yes, but can you help everyone? The answer to that's no. You can't help everyone, right? So
no.
You wouldn't be equipped to. You wouldn't be equipped to.
There's just not enough hours in the day. There's not enough, manpower. So that's why narrowing down who you market to, there's 330 million people in the United States. Well, marketing to 330 million people, unless you're selling Pepsi or something, doesn't make much sense. So
Jim, let me ask you. So when you're, because we're trying to get at inside what you do for people. So when you get in there and you start this whole thing of distilling down, what's your vision? Why are you doing it? Who are you wanting to help? What is it specific you do different for that person? I bet that's just an eye opener for most people. I think most people don't, they know these things maybe intuitively, but it's different intuiting it than articulating it.
I think what is amazing is that people don't believe that they can live the life of their dreams.
That's what it comes down to.
And I know you guys, I know how hard you work, but I also know how much time you have to play. So you guys are a great model of having your passion, having the focus, and being committed to living a quality life now, not waiting until later. And that's something that I get people reattached with, is it is possible to succeed and have a high quality life. So really uncollapsing those two. And there's
well,
a real...
I would actually go farther and say it's actually necessary to in order to succeed, you have to have a quality of life.
I love that.
There's a book I read by Miss Huffington, Arianna Huffington, who started the Huffington Post, called Thrive, where she talks about the third, what she calls the third matrix. Money and power are two of the matrix that we tend to measure our success by, but she measures by that third matrix of well-being and taking care of yourself. And I know, and I think you would agree with this, Jim, having the time to go enjoy yourself and decompress and get away from work makes the work you do better.
Absolutely. I'm a long distance runner. I'm totally passionate about it. And you guys that may think I'm crazy because most people don't like running, but I get fantastic ideas. So getting away from work and fueling yourself, good food, rest, exercise, meditation, whatever it is, allows you to bring your best self to your team, to your clients.
And we
Absolutely,
all know that you
Mike.
get in that stress loop, Jim, especially when you're an entrepreneur, that you can get it's like feeling like always a scramble to be caught up, and always a scramble to make that next dollar. And it's just, there's not a steady paycheck. So it's always like this striving it's difficult and it's very stressful. Then it's hard how you go home from work. You can't just shut the door. and you're gone. I mean, it haunts you and it sticks with you. So I would imagine in your coaching that you really, is it about helping people with that balance? Because that's, I think, one of the trickiest things as an entrepreneur.
It's absolutely true. And most of us think that no one can do it better than we can. And maybe we have control issues, and we don't get that part-time admin that could just catapult us. And there's business owners that are doing their own bookkeeping. I've done study after study with businesses across all different industries where if the business owner is doing their own bookkeeping, if they hire a bookkeeper and they spend that time doing business development activities, they make 5 to 10 times the amount that they're spending for that bookkeeper.
That's huge. That's a leap of faith, though, to make that jump,
it's
right?
Scary at first, but oh my God, like I've learned so many computer systems in my life, and yes, I'm blessed with a good analytical left brain, but I have purposefully never learned QuickBooks, so I don't get caught in that trap.
Well, and I would point out that's exactly where I started when I was by myself. Literally by myself. I did it all, and the first thing that I was convinced to let go.
His mentor told
my
him.
mentor told me stop doing that, and letting go of that was really difficult, but instantly 10 hours a week of my time, I had it, and it made a huge difference.
Okay, thanks. Oh, you guys got to take a break right now. I hate to cut in, but we're going to come back in just a few minutes on Money 105.5.
A couple of drinks after work. Think you're doing okay. Get in the car and boom, you see the flashing lights and your heart stops. Hi, I'm Mike Chastain of the Chastain Law Office, and I literally wrote the book, How to Survive a DUI Arrest, What You Need to Know. When you're pulled over for a DUI, how you act matters. Be polite, stay calm, and follow directions. It may mean the difference between going home or going to jail. My book provides critical information you need to protect your livelihood, your driving privileges, and your reputation. To get a free copy, go to www.yoursacduiattorney.com. You can listen to me every Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. for the Legal Hour during the happy hour on Money 105.5 FM. If you've been arrested, call me for a free consultation right now. That's yoursacduiattorney.com. Bottom line, if you've been drinking, call for a ride. If you didn't and got caught, you better call Mike. I'm Mike Chastain, and my team fights for good people.
Now, back to the Legal Hour on Money 105.5 with your host, Mike Chastain.
And welcome back to the Legal Hour. This is E here, and I'm joined with Mike and Jim Kaspari, who is a business coach extraordinaire. And he's just pulling back the curtains with us, showing us a little bit more what goes on in his world of helping people really create their dreams and live like the full, complete lives that they wanted, that they envisioned for themselves. Because often we have that gap of where we start, like, this is what I want to create, this is how I want to live, this is the business I want. But here I am, and there it is, and it's just always a fingertip or more away. We were talking at the break about paradigm shifting, and that was one of Jim's favorite things, is how do you help people bridge that gap?
A lot of times we have viewpoints or paradigms. A paradigm is simply a point of view, and we think it's the truth. So if you're looking at a goal or looking at a dream or just a task sometimes, and you think, oh my God, that's impossible. Like me coming on this radio show, I was all nervous, but I had to keep coaching myself. Relax, it'll be fine. So I had to shift my paradigm from my initial thoughts. But what I do, and actually it's a great coaching exercise, and you can do it over the phone, over Skype, or in person, but you put your goal in the middle of the room. And then you stand, say, in the corner of the room, and you look at with your current perspective. And this is good for an area where you're stuck. So what is your current paradigm? It's too hard, it's too much work, and people are going to think I'm pushy, or whatever the paradigm is from there. Then you actually physically walk around to the other side of the room and play with the opposite perspective. And then you can try 360 different perspectives. Obviously, we're not going to go through that many, but we try different points of view and really just try them on. And what it does is it dissolves the original point of view from a truth to a point of view.
Yeah,
and then
it
you
has a
keep going
choice.
around. Yes.
I have other choices.
Yes.
Hello.
It isn't just that way.
Hello,
It
yeah.
isn't impossible to find good helpers. Like I see people stuck
Yeah,
with
it just
that
can't
all
happen.
the time.
Nope, not
right?
possible.
And then you pick something that you resonate with. And we were just talking about the analogy of if you're stepping over a 200-foot crevasse, which is a huge cliff in the snow, and it's a 6-foot jump, you're probably not going to go for it. And that's how a lot of times we look at our goals and our dreams. It's impossible. It's too hard,
yeah.
right? But when we shift the paradigm and visually, mentally, it becomes a 1-foot gap, even if it's 200 feet deep. You can
do
step
that.
over it. I can do that. So
Yeah.
how do you take a 30-foot building and then build a ladder to get to your goals?
Well, I often use this analogy. If you took a 2x4 and you put it on the ground and said, could you walk across that 2x4? It'd be no problem. You take that same 2x4, you lift it 200 feet in the air, and you say, now walk across that. What's changed? Nothing really, except for your attitude about risk.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, two different ways of looking at it, but it's all in our head. But I think the point really is that having somebody that can help you with that. And Mike and I are huge believers of having like mentors and coaches and stuff. And so, Jim, what kind of advice would you give to our listeners out there saying that, like, yeah, I really want to give a coach a try. Now, how do you go about finding one? Because I'm sure, like in any business, they come in all shapes and sizes and perspectives. Well, how do you do that? What should they look for?
Well, I think one of the most important pieces is to get an idea of the values of your coach. If you're not aligned in values, I had a mentor at one point that was worth $40 million. And I won't say who he was or what he did, but we were playing golf and he did something and then that wasn't very good. And then he jumped in the golf cart to take off. And I'm like, what are you doing? And at that point, I didn't care how much he was worth or how much he could make me successful.
As a person, you didn't like his choice.
I was just like, this isn't going to work. Yeah. So ethics, values, your own values, and everybody has different values. That's really important. But bottom line is, do they get results? I've been coaching since 2005, so 12 years now. I've coached over 400 people in 9 different countries. And it even surprises me how many people double their profits and get more time off. Obviously it's an evolution and it takes time and the personal growth that we've talked about. But, whenever you're doing due diligence, whether it's search engine optimization or creating a website, you want to look at the portfolio. You want to look at the success stories. You want to look at testimonials. And spend some time with them. I give a free hour, a powerful hour of coaching and give out thousands of dollars worth of advice.
Is that kind of like your initial consult thing?
Absolutely.
Is what you're saying that you do that for? Is there a charge for that when people
No.
first come to you? That's the free. That's the initial consult.
Yep.
Nice.
I call it my Baskin Robbins pink spoon.
Oh.
Once you taste the ice cream, then
you're like, I need more. Give me the big giant bowl. That's great. That's cool. And so, Jim, how could people get a hold of you if they want to, find out more about what you do specifically?
You can visit peakbusinesscoaching.com. That's P-E-A-K, peakbusinesscoaching.com. Has all my contact information. And feel free to call me.
And we'll put all that information too on our website. Once again, these are all under our podcast section. Well, actually, it's called radio now. Right. So it's at chastainlaw.net or chastainlaw.com, and that's Chastain with an E at the end, like Amazing E. You won't forget that. And just go to our website, and it'll be in the radio section, and you will see today's podcast, and right underneath there we'll have all the information that you can get a hold of Jim. I suggest give him a call, visit the website, but set up a time for that consultation. If you're in a place where you really resonate that, I have this dream, I'm right here with my goals and my business, but I really want to be there, and I'm just not sure what's getting in my way. Well, Tip, it's probably you, but
yeah, most of the
he'll
time
help you with it.
You're the cork in your own bottle. I found that was true with my business. With the firm, is that I was the person most in the way, and by getting out of the way and letting other people do what they do best, things grow without me putting in more hours, and that's the key, and all of it is a function of having great mentors. I've been so fortunate in my life to have great mentors,
But
coaching.
you've chosen great mentors. It's not a thing that happens to you. It's not something that can be imposed on you. You make a decision today. I've listened to this broadcast. I'm inspired. I want to coach. I'm going to go get one, because you have to make
Right.
the commitment to do it, then go out and get one, and then be open.
And I wanted to add, I mentioned earlier there are people I can help and people that I can't help. And so if you're going to hire a mentor or a business coach or a powerful consultant for that matter, you want to be open-minded. And you want to be open, vulnerable. And, as males, it's not easy necessarily being open, honest, and vulnerable. And you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid by that. Be excited about your dreams and your goals, because a business coach will help you get there faster and easier.
Well,
Right. You got to be coachable, is what it
Right.
boils down
Right.
to. Having the best coach in the world doesn't do you a bit of good if you are not coachable.
Well, for those of you that weren't with us right at the very beginning, we started out by talking about what, how Jim helps create that space for his clients, where you'll go in and you have actually part of your intake thing is really creating that safe space, and an agreement with them is how you're going to be presenting things. They need to be receiving things, and it's all done in the spirit of, I'm here to help you. I'm not here to tear you down. I'm here to build you up. I'm here to help you create these goals. And it's okay to be open and vulnerable, like Mike was saying, because you really have to accept it. I mean, it's hard for us to hear what's wrong with us.
Right.
We're our own worst enemies on that,
Yeah, and the other important point is I'm not here to fix anybody. As a matter of fact, a lot of my clients know a lot more than me, and they're capable, and bottom line, they know their business way better than I do.
But they're stuck. They need help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. What's the
But
outside
they don't
perspective?
know. They don't know what they don't know, and
Yeah.
and it's also lonely owning your own business at times. Being at the top, being the CEO, your spouse gets tired of hearing about your business. You can't voice your weaknesses or concerns to your employees. You want to
it's
keep
not
morale
appropriate.
up. So a coach is someone that's there, hold you accountable, hold you to your highest potential, and is just there for you. It creates a team where there wasn't one.
I love it, Jim, and I would thank you so much for joining us today and sharing it with us about your special world. I mean, you're the only business coach I know, and I guess that's not true. I do have mentors and coaches, but in this area, and you do a great job at it, so thank you so much for doing it. We just have about a minute left here. Mike, is there anything you want us to get caught up on in the Chastain world?
Been in trial, had a good result, got a client out of custody today. I was very pleased about that. So we've been working hard on behalf of our clients and making a difference. So
I love that. And just a final note here, everybody. Remember, it's still beautiful, warm, and sunny out. And for those of you out enjoying this nice weather, just make sure we're not driving our boat, our cars, and drinking. And we don't want the summer to end on a bad note. So stay safe, use Uber, get a designated driver, and tune back next week on Money 105.5, The Legal Hour with Mike Chastain.